Miranda's going to get hot.
Gee.
Okay.
Okay, we're live. I'm Miranda Clendenning with Unify. This is William Martino and Andrea Lynn. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
William is an instructor or teacher, friend to Andrea and I, and a special person in our life that has helped us with empowerment, transformation, meditation, qigong, all kinds of stuff, experiencing life, learning from each other. So we're here today to share some of that and share some light and love and just have a good time today. And I'm glad for anybody joining us. Thank you for being here. Go ahead, William.
Nothing to say.
I have nothing to say. Well, we were going to share with you. Let's see where we go with this because, you know, energy flows all over. But we're going to share with you advanced meditation and how that really tunes into your personal coherence. And I just want to say from my experience in working with William for probably over a year is that he doesn't really teach a specific modality, like something that you can go take and teach. But what he does teach is really different tools on self-mastery. And I personally feel like the more I can self-master my inner mastery, then the more that I can serve and help others. Definitely, I was coming from, you know, I'm a business owner for many, many years and a mom and a wife. And so I have all these masks and roles to play. And one thing I noticed when I met William was that I was coming from a place of squeezing energy just to kind of like get things done. And I was on this hamster wheel. And I didn't realize that I was probably in adrenal fatigue, a little burnout. And I noticed about a week ago, yes, I know we're in quarantine and I know I'm in New York and it's like the worst place. But about a week ago, I said to myself, geez, I don't have any burnout. You know, I feel regenerated in some way. So what that means for me, and it can mean for you guys, is that when you find those tools to self-mastery and just to reinvent yourself all the time, then you can get that creative juices from the universe to just start offering what you're really here to do to the world. So that's what I feel like I've learned in working with you, William. So we're kind of going to go into, you know, what's meditation. So I've been meditating 27 years. I won't give you my age, but when I met you, it was like a whole nother ball game because I was using meditation, I think, to escape, you know, and I was going outside of myself and it felt wonderful. And I would receive so much insight and information, but I wasn't really taking it back and applying it to like my everyday life. So I would say most people that I've talked to and have questions for you, William, is like, are there different phases of meditation, I guess, is the first question that you, in your expertise?
Everybody meditates.
Mm-hmm.
We all center, balance, refresh ourselves. A lot of times this word meditate relates to a fantasy world thing, but that's not what I'm talking about. Authentic meditation is based on support and relief dancing together. We all have unmet needs. We all have areas where we need to do it better or differently. We all have trauma. We all have physical needs. This is the negative pole of meditation that reaches up to what supports you. It can be the sunshine. It can be the hope for something good in your life or somebody else's life. It can be a quote. It can be a song. It's really a feeling. So there's 3 steps really in every process. For example, say you're going to clean and organize something. You kind of animate yourself. And of course, Andrea, you've heard this 1,000 times, but you animate yourself at the first step. You know, you say, I'm going to get this done. I need to fill out the taxes. I need to do the dishes. I need to clean up. So there's these gamma waves, according to science. There's this activation phase. That's really the first step of meditation. It's removing the covering to where it is that this stuff exists and the challenge exists. Let's say that you really want to survive and you want to thrive. Well, then there's got to be some kind of decision saying, you know, I'm going to take this next hour of time and I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to nourish myself. So I'm going to get turned on, tuned in, outside the box, in the zone, this kind of stuff, rejuvenated. So the first step, and we're going to go into it in a little while, is like that, of all process. And in this process, the process of facing yourself, reinventing yourself, adapting, changing what's going on in there so that you can find new resourcefulness, because it's about resourcefulness, not resources, really, in the end game, in the long run. That leads you to the second step. Now you're in the process of slowing down and getting connected, concentrating, focusing, whether it's organizing the dishes or cleaning up or doing a practice or facing yourself. And in the second step, the alpha waves happen in the brain. You begin to flow and recognize that you're working through whatever your personal issues are, your blockages, your ignorances, your areas where you need to improve your skill. So in this process, what we're applying the 3 steps to is for you to experience more personal coherence in your own mind and body, because that's the luck factor of life. That's real meditation. The only species that survive in nature are those that self-reinvent. Right now, today, this call, you have the opportunity to codify things that can help you to rise to the occasion of self-adaptation. The third part, the third step, is always these epiphany moments. You get done the project and you have a sigh of relief. There's moments of outside the box perception. You knew as a child that there's a mystery of life. When you go to bed, you know there's a mystery of life with yourself. I want you to learn to merge the sleep state with the wake state. That's meditation. And to do that, you're going to have to face all sorts of deep things inside yourself, the first step. So that's an idea of the 3 steps of advanced meditation that also applies to all process. And knowing this, you can do anything better. Knowing that any process, any project, any task is going to go through these 3 steps.
So then I guess what you're saying is meditation beyond the mind and body, or is it with the mind and body?
Usually meditation, religion, self-help is a dissociative thing that's beyond mind and body. It's an escape, like you said at the beginning. Mm-hmm. That's our first inclination to do meditation, is that I'm going to just escape myself and escape how I need to grow and change and move and shape differently. Now, strictly speaking, in all the scriptures of meditation and in science, that's like the highest thing, is to go beyond. But if you go beyond without creating a platform and a springboard, which means your own mind and body, then it's dissociation. Okay, so we have 2 things functioning here. You have this person that's watching me, and then you have this part of yourself that's watching me, that's watching you. Then you have this part of yourself that's watching me and watching you, and that's watching you, watch me and watch yourself, you see? And it continues to extrapolate out. Now that's this gone beyond place that we all really live in and from. But with time and through the years, we find that there's a separation between that place and our mind and body, because we don't have the grit to continue to self-reinvent. And eventually we succumb. But to live longer, to live stronger, we need to have the grit of facing the biological biography and saying, I can educate myself. I can find something in here that will create stability. Now, all meditation systems function the same way. In Zen, Bampu, Shikantanza, Samadhi, Jiri. In yoga, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, Samyama. And I can go on and on. But in science, I explained it as the beginning of gamma waves and alpha waves, and then you have brainwave coherence, you transcend. what I'm getting at is that all the meditation systems teach you this 3-step process, which is first, reverse your search. Don't use the intellect and the senses to analyze the other person all the time and the life out here. You think that if you calm down and you center and you deeply relax and have profound relief today, that, you know, life's going to cave in on you, you're not going to keep up, and it's not true. The most productive, the greatest creative genius, the fastest race car driver, the best lover and speaker and whatever, they're very still inside. So industrious productivity really comes from an internal wellspring, an overflow of energy, not a squeeze. So you've got to convince your mind again and again and again that this is something that you can do. It's worthy of your time. The most difficult thing is to find out what works for you as an individual. And that's what we're going to do after some of these questions.
Yeah, so I mean, Miranda, jump in if you have some questions too, but I found, I'm just going to reflect on kind of myself about a year ago, is that I would be saying, you know, oh, I'm not going to go back to my childhood trauma. I've already dealt with that, right? I'm on my spiritual journey since 2012. I've already dealt with that. So it's almost like I've realized that those things still come up, and it doesn't mean I'm any less than that they're coming up. And I think what I heard you say is that really reverse the search is to say, hey, is that trauma from my childhood coming up again? What's there for me? Is that what you mean by that?
It's not going to end. If you become this big of a healer, then you're going to deal with people in your lives that much. If you become this big of a healer, now you're going to deal with deeper trauma and craziness and disease. If you become this big of a healer, so when are you going to heal the whole world? So we tend to think in spiritual enlightenment circles that, you know, you get done with it. Well, I got enlightened in, you know, such and such a day and time. I always laugh when somebody says that. By being a servant, and, you know, servanthood is the true crown of human achievement. By being a servant, you're always taking on more. So to take on more, you're going to find out more inside of yourself that relates to your lineage, your experiences, your bad decisions, your good decisions. And only with that rocket fuel come up. That's what real yoga is all about. It's finding these physical locations that relate to psychological things, just like a cat stretching out, or like a person in the morning. You don't just stretch anywhere. You really stretch something that's deep inside your emotional being. Emotional hygiene is necessary for us to kind of feel like we're cared about as an individual. You know, you got to ask yourself, do you feel that? Do people demonstrate that to you? Do you invite that into your life? If so, then right here with this mind and body, whatever the age, whatever the circumstance, you begin to just experience contentment. Time stretches a bit. Now, Dr. Eric Kandel, who's often considered the greatest brain scientist in the world and the greatest neuropsychiatrist in the world, said in a documentary about meditation that neuroplasticity is the last frontier of medical science, and that to know yourself, to understand how you work, nothing is greater. It's the greatest adventure. So he said other quotes like this, talking about the wisdom and ability of meditation masters. Meditation masters are not reflected in the ordinary teachings about meditation, or, you know, what is chi power, what is yoga power, because usually it's a thing that kind of augments the ego, you know. But what I'm suggesting is that you can create a calm with yourself and look at the science that says this is your best way to influence your hormones, your breathing pattern, your brain waves, your spatial orientation, your emotional relationship with yourself and others. So you're in process. And if you have a little bit of peace of mind with that, by just stretching time a little bit and have some faith, you know, the logic of faith says that you can trust in letting go, that you're actually going to be more healthy. You're going to find out a way to influence your body and your relationship. if you can release the problem. You can't release the problem unless you face the problem. All of it is within you. So if you want to continue to mature and evolve as an individual, then you got to slow down, stop, and reverse the search. It's time worthy of your attention. It's investment worthy of your resources, of your energy, whatever works for you as an individual, whatever workshop, whatever class, whatever YouTube, whatever song, whatever place in nature, because you develop a relationship with the feeling of being nourished.
Thank you, William. And the reason that I, came to William too is because I was like Andrea. I've been meditating a long time. Qigong, Tai Chi, kind of have my list of some of my favorites that help me feel good and transcend into bliss. But I still, I've been experiencing kind of a feeling of stagnation for the last couple of years, and where that kind of thing isn't enough. And then I see my kind of negative or shadow side that's kind of in the background speaking to me about not quite being the enough, or maybe I'm not doing this good enough, or just different things that come up that I know and feel that I've needed to go deeper. And that sometimes meditation is actually not helping me because I do feel like I'm transcending the problem. I'm going to a place of bliss and peacefulness, but I want to feel wholeness, and I want to feel energized, and I want to feel embodied. And that's why I was attracted to William's teachings, because it's like, get into the depth of everything that's in there and learn how to find your 0 point of being neutral and kind of that void, but then learn how to dive deep and embody all the parts of yourself and work on them and truly heal them. And find that bliss state and connecting to the heavens and the cosmos and all that too. But it's a learning. One of the things I love that you say is, it's a 300,000 year process, and we're going to keep going. And to me, that's actually exciting to be on that journey, and that we get to have each other all on that journey too, and be experiencing, and that there's more and more levels of discovery and deeper discovery. And I love that you teach truths from many different modalities that you've learned and that are crossing across cultures. And it helps me to feel like a peace and understanding that this isn't just one guru's teaching, but that there's these kind of truths everywhere. But do you want to dive some into enlightenment and embodiment and what about more?
Let me give Andrea a plug, because she's big on she wrote a book called Born Enough. And so you have the book there?
I do, yeah. Born Enough, the holistic blueprint to remembering your worth.
We all have this thing, right, Andrea, about, am I good enough? Am I not good enough? Did I do good? Did I do bad? Oh my God. And as the years go on, it just tortures us. But hopefully we have some avenue of access to realizing that who we are is really beyond the software program of our mind and body. What would you say from your experience about how we can recognize this born enough thing? Because we got to feel like we're enough, huh?
Well, before we jumped on live, right, Miranda and William and I were talking, and then Miranda shared how she has 5 children. I was like, whoa, that's amazing. But as she was speaking, it made me realize that, especially if you're a woman, especially if you have children, that we tend to just say, oh, we're not enough, and let me keep giving to this person and that person and this person and that person. But I feel like, to tie it back to some of the teachings you teach, William, is like, how can you nourish yourself? And I feel like the start to feeling worthy is to say, you know what? I really like this food and I'm going to eat it today. I really like those trees outside and I'm going to go sit with them today. And just remembering all the things that you like will start to ignite your own worth because you're starting to feed yourself those the medicine of nature, right? That's something that you've reminded me of going through your program for sure.
So we've all got this mastery, and we all have born enough ingredients,
Mhm.
and we all have born not enough ingredients, because there are aspects inside of ourselves that we need to work on. But after a while, when we dance with these two things, we get to the place of being the watcher, being the observer, realizing that all along you've been sitting in the big round movie theater and you're supposed to learn something. That's an internal matter. That's the only thing that can help you reach so deep that you transform deep-seated things inside yourself. Now, of course, the whole human genome is inside of us, so we're not going to get done much, but we can make progress in who we are and how we live. We can feel better today. So I'd like you to write down, or you could say in your mind, a favorite song. Just be specific. We're going to train now. We're going to get the feeling that can cause things to shift in your neurology, that can make better hormones happen, that can make better brainwave pattern happen. You've got to be specific. You've got to train. There's no such thing as advanced accomplishment without endless repetition and training. That's the way skills develop, no matter what you're looking at for a skill.
I just need to interject because
Yeah.
for a lot of women, when you're not feeling worthy, you don't even know what your favorite song is because you've been taking so much time of like giving to other people and that's been your focus. For me, I forgot. And when William would say, what's your favorite song? I'm like, oh, one more thing I have to think about. I don't know. So I faked it. I faked it for a really long time until I started remembering what my favorite songs were. So fake it right now.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm learning more and more that a lot of people just are not going to choose something. But what I'm saying is that if you don't choose and become specific, then you're not going to train. And don't fool yourself. You do need to train. So remember sensuality. Miranda and I were talking about, she was saying that she forgot about sensuality, like, you know, the brush of a flower or the feeling of wind on your skin, the sky, the stars. This is the tangible connection you have to nourish your body. There's a field of psychic magnetism around us. You forget all this stuff when you become an adult and become busy. But actually, there's this paranormal world that everybody really knows about when you're calm. And the reality of empowering your insides means that you recognize in your environment, right where you are, there's electricity and magnetism in the air that you can soak up. The stars are out all around you. You can soak that up. That will give your body more gravity. When your body has more gravity, you're naturally more protected. You naturally can live healthier and longer. These are the teachings of chi power. But it's just nature. It's just natural. Every cell in the body has a north and south pole of magnetism. The heart has a 40-foot field of electromagnetism. When you feel heartfelt, heart-warmed, when somebody loves you, now your intention goes within and your mind and your body become self-consistent. And you're not in this give and take in the field of psychic magnetism between yourself and other people. You're beyond magnetism. You know, right here in your brain, there's a thing called magnetite-bearing tissue. It's how all animals navigate and how they sense prey predator. In your spine and your brain is magnetite-bearing crystals. You know what that does? It senses magnetism. We've known that there's an aura since 1920. And yet the whole world doesn't understand about the clear and simple science about advanced meditation and advanced energy medicine. But it's here for you right now. Try to address your ears, your eyes, your nose. What's a favorite scent? If I have flowers behind my back and you can't see them, it doesn't do you much good. If I put those flowers in your face and you smell them, you have some tangible nourishment that comes into your body and mind. Yes or no? So that's one stream of nourishment. How about for your eyes? Do you like the vision of a laughing baby? Do you like the sound of flowing water? You see, the senses are these streams of nourishment that will perform convergence in your brain, and you get a sweet taste in your mouth, like a sweet kiss. Advanced meditation really is love and sex on the inside of yourself, because the brain comes down into the body. The body downloads and digests the energy and information of your brain when you feel safe. Now, I'm only a little human. I'm no sage or saint, so I can only go so far. But on your my favorites list, you can carry it out to the hill. You can put that lavender scent. You can listen to that flowing water. You can put on that favorite song from a long time ago. And these things will build up and cause streams of nourishment to come into your body and start to change things. When you feel support like that, you're going to get turned on. That turn on is the power that you use inside your body, not to mention it makes everything else better, of course, but first to nourish yourself, to look inside and say, oh, this is a danger area of my mind and body, and it relates to this behavior and this psychology and this poor belief, and you change it. You have enough power to grow new neurology, new tendrality. Tendrality means that you're spacious. It's not just me and you talking. You see the space behind me. The sky is above my head. You're not just locked in the field of psychic magnetism with others. You have a sense of perspective. Nature, or being boundless in your perception, is the proper container for relationships. And you reference all this stuff back to your biological biography so that you can feel those nourishment streams. You can choose to do this. And if you do, who you are becomes better. You become more resourceful. And so you just do 10 seconds now and then. So let's do 10 seconds of wiping the hands together, okay? As a little prep. Breathe deep, because the muscles bring the attention down from the head. You got to be a little active as your way to meditation or centering. I think I'm getting tired of using the word meditation. Still misunderstood. Now clap. Okay, now make your muscles go. Contract your stomach and put your hands out. Wah! Like you're working in a gym. By compressing your muscles a little bit, you're going to help your brain to become grounded. This building has a ground wire, right? So excessive electricity goes through the ground wire into the ground. That's what the muscles do for the body. You don't want to have no muscular activity. Do a little bit of muscles. Okay, so a little more. Come on. You'll feel a lot better if you just follow along. Let's see where we're at with time here. Okay. Okay, really? Effort. There's no rest without effort. You think you're going to go right into meditation without any effort, any prep? You have to effort emotionally with catharsis and support. You have to effort with your body. You have to effort to choose concentration, to accept the light in through the window, to accept your feeling of deeply sleeping and receiving nourishment. All of this is going to allow you to slow down and relax and perform a little magic in your life. Define a stretch in your body. This is real yoga. Find the knot. Find something in your body. You know, everybody has a neck, but I want you to write down 3 specific places in your body that you feel challenged, that you feel that, you know, you need a little TLC there. And we're going to structure for you ways that you can do it. 10 seconds and 5 minutes is the foundation. You just make it happen. So write down 3 stretches. Okay. And then we're just going to do 1 stretch. But for you going forward, you can have these 3 stretches that will prep you for meditation. You'll find that being very specific about where you have a need for a stretch in your body mind is going to release a lot of power It's like trapped rocket fuel. All right, just look up, lean back and look up, because everybody has tension in their neck. So just look up, all the way back and up. Miranda, looking up. Looking up, looking up. So there's a medical definition called text neck now, because everybody has tension in their neck. So just stretch that for a while. Just lean back and look up. Things are looking up. I'm going to get some music going. Good. Now you could just do that once a day for 10 seconds. The idea is to have a series of things that are doable and repeatable. When you do long routine that results in more advanced meditation, which we're bouncing back and forth with today, then you can do more of it. But really the master's skill is to do little bits. Masters of life frequently center themselves. Think of the great Olympian. Before they deliver, all of a sudden they pause, they rally their resources, they absorb life back to themselves. They stop thinking. Feeling peace of mind instead of thinking thoughts is mental antiseptic. So when you write down things that make sense to you, they become yours. You don't have to follow me, what I'm saying. You make your own path. The scents, the sights, the sounds, the thoughts, the feeling peace of mind without thought, the practices, that's your path. There's not ever going to be a better path for you, whoever you are, as an individual, than these things. And more things, the centers of your body. They're nerve plexuses, where you can fortify the energy of your spine. You can fortify the energy of your solar plexus and so forth. Okay, now stretch your breath a little bit. Just extend your breath. Long, 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 long. Relax. Let's get that water flowing music.
What?
Okay. Drop the weight of the body. Relax. Forget about future, past, time, self, others. Forget it. Leave it alone. Practice your ability to make progress in the inner world. It doesn't matter who you are, how great you are, how not great you are. What matters is that you progress in this. There's no stasis. Stasis is called living in shock. You either make progress or you make regression. If you split time and choose this moment to learn about these things and relax, you're going to have a better tomorrow. Here's some water for us. Now you got to have trust. The worst thing, right? Got to drop the defense mechanisms and let nourishment come to you. You're not going to help anybody in a sustainable way unless you are alive and healthy as much as possible. Power of the mind in meditation is extraordinary. Longer, 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 longer. Can you hear that music? Okay. Longer. Stretch time. It's the most boring thing in the world. Boring repetition. Longer, longer. Slow down your experience of time. The greater your sense of timelessness and spaciousness, the more you can process things, your physical needs, your emotional needs, your relational challenges, whatever. Slow down more. Stop everything. Get a clean slate, new lease, fresh start. Do it now. Practice it. Fall in love and become happy. Remember that. All by yourself. And of course, everybody else is attracted to you more, right? Just relax. Can you feel your legs? Usually, we're just in the head. We don't feel our body much at all. Torso. Imagine that there's some kind of very refreshing scene, like this flowing water scene here on YouTube I've got going. Beautiful nature scene. Light through the window. Imagine that you're being given profound intervention, special graces. Stop time. Make a break for it, for your own survival. You feel your shoulders, you feel your hands. You see, usually we keep everyone out and under some control. But what if everybody's God wearing a mask? What if everybody's trying to heal you? They can't get in. Change the direction of your mind from outgoing to ingoing. Then you're going to be able to do more anyway. All of a sudden, you're going to feel refreshed and have a better day. But you've got to trust to do ABC. Slow down, stop, reverse your search. The third state of meditation, in advanced meditation, is a natural pause, a suspended animation, like breathtaking beauty. You see something so beautiful, so wonderful, that you go beyond. The peace that passes all understanding, like the Bible says, all the scriptures. Same kind of thing. Now, the bigger the light, the more the mosquitoes. You don't see the real thing in ordinary society. But you know now the simple science of it. The step one, remove the covering. Step two, slow down. Step three, begin to pause. Begin to be in that place of being in love, being happy. The eyes change direction. When you look in the eyes of someone that's in love or content, they're misty-eyed. You can't see the bottom because they're before their own minds. They have perspective of silence before their own thought. That's what you have now. Breathtaking beauty. What moment in your life did that from childhood? Go back to childhood for a second and look to some wonderful moment. You find these things and let them wash over you just so you can learn about the feeling. You got the flowers, you got the scent, you have the sound. Little by little, keep going. Build it up more so that you release more. If you have tremendously good news, Doesn't that change your entire biology? Can't science measure those changes? Brainwaves, pulse, breathing pattern, hormones? Sure they can. That's the kind of moments I'm instructing you to install in your life. When you're standing there doing the dishes, when you're waiting in a line before you make a phone call, install these 10-second things to help build your skill and understanding. And then when you do this longer kind of training, you could refer to some of the things we talked about and begin to weave your life with moments that ripple. Little by little, it's like dipping in magic waters. There's a cumulative benefit. You change, you mature, you morph, you adapt. So that's all I know. It doesn't solve all the problems, but it gives you a reprieve. So if you just go on back to regular communication, we're at 9:40, about 20 minutes. So maybe if you feel like you want to ask something, Miranda or Andrea, we can go forward a little bit and maybe add some clarity to what we've been doing here today.
Well, I just want to thank you. As you said, we were talking a little bit about this before the call, but for me and reading deeper into some of your teachings, the theme of sensuality like struck me really hard, that I'd come to you and said, I want to find out why I'm feeling this stagnation or not feeling so much spiritual flow of energy. And for me, that one was the one that I realized I lost somehow, either through, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know how you can just lose a concept that means a lot to you. But it's this week, I went on, I have like Pinterest boards or boards of pictures that I find online that remind me of beauty or different themes and things that I love, a whole one about my spirit animals, just different ones. But I made one about sensuality this week because just all these images of people representing the concept of sensuality and this deep understanding of like what we have within us and how you can be that with the world and with yourself. And it reminded me of a quote from Rumi about, it's something like, wherever you go, whatever you do, be in love. Just in love. It's not like in love. It doesn't have to be with a person. It doesn't even have to be with yourself. It's just with everything. And the concept of like being sensually in love with the world. Like once I tapped back into this feeling, it was like even taking a flower and rubbing it against my cheek, and the remembrance of like my skin wants that and wants nature and wants to feel the air, but you have to be like tapped in and tuned in. You can't have it turned off. And like, why did I turn it off? I don't know. I didn't mean to turn it off, but just that kind of discovery. And I don't know, maybe just advice and tips and tools on how we remember or keep discovering all the parts of ourselves that we need to make sure not to turn off or forget about.
When it comes to physical healing, the best thing that I've found in my studies is this Qigong stuff, Qi power development systems. Once again, not represented by hardly any of the teachers that teach it. I don't know why. I think because the real teachings of yoga, the real teachings of Qigong and so forth require that you face yourself. And that might not be the same kind of marketplace. So, but I would rather the real teachings to try to help us. So the smell of soil, that's a miracle ingredient. Starlights, that's a miracle ingredient. 3 a.m. experiences of being in love and being happy. You see, you got to be very, very practical and very specific and take decisive action. In Qigong, you've got the 3 powers. 3 powers are sky, body, and earth. Sky is not just sky. Earth is not just earth. Earth has the tangible feeling of the soil. You want to be more healthy? You want to be more sensual? Look at these different offerings that are present to you right now. And if the mind is calm, you're going to see it more. Just like if you're alone in a scene in nature, you're connected with all this stuff and you see it. It's much more powerful than the intellect and the idea of gaining something all the time. And in the long run, you'll get everything if you do this. So don't worry about your gaining. But listen, the soil has got teeming life in it. It's got magma, right? It's got a metal ball in the center. Got a lot of things. How about that rich mud? How about the feeling of sand on a beach? You don't have to go anywhere for these things. They're right here. Now, the sky, it's not just the sky and, oh, I know the sky. What about the clouds? What about the sensuality of the droplets of water from the sky, from pure rain? What about the boundary layer to the stars? You see, when you're free, when you have the moment where you accept somebody cares about you as an individual unconditionally, that's the bottom line. That's what my mother told me. When you get that message that you don't have to do anything exactly, I love you either way. When you accept that, now you're free. Free. What does it mean, free? It means being alone in the scene of nature and you see everything. So you begin to live with this thing called third eye open. You know, there's all these techniques about how to gain power and how to open your third eye. It happens naturally. All that stuff's real. But when you're alone in the scene of nature, don't you, the sky and the trees and the rocks and the sensuality, and you experience a soulgasm. You go beyond. This is what life is about, believe it or not. It's about feeling profound support enough that you feel better and you become spacious. In your spaciousness, the sensuality of the sky and the stars and the earth and the trees begins to become your ordinary state. And you can train yourself to experience that with structure. You go to the super masters at structure. So I'm saying 10 seconds is my suggestion from what I learned from people beyond me. Do 10 seconds for the sky. So in the program, there's all these 10 seconds that you're asked to do. And over 7 weeks time, you know, I talked to you and I said, did you do the 10 seconds of look at the sky? So over 7 weeks, if you do 10 seconds while you're washing dishes and you have your own version of what you're going to do, feel the sensuality of the water, and you do the 10 seconds to look at the sky, little by little, you begin to adopt the master skill into your life and cause moments that ripple, cause moments that transform who you are on the inside, which is based on need, based on I have more confusions and understandings, and in humanity, there's more needs that I could ever address. So I'm not going to lose contact with that. So that's some tips on centralization, I call it.
Thank you, William. You want to go ahead, Andrea, and talk about how people can join us more next weekend in a deeper dive if they're wanting to. And I think on Friday, next Friday, we'll probably broadcast again on Unify a live stream, kind of tapping into the beginning of that event next weekend for anyone that wants to join us too. But I'll let you go, Andrea and William, talk about that.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if you guys know William Martino, just his background. He's not just some head talking to you about this stuff, but he does have a vast background in so many things. I know I'll just ramble off some that I know. I feel like he probably hides many because he always says that's not important. But he's been a monk in 3 traditions. He's worked with the guru of the Beatles. He's a world-renowned master in Qigong and Tai Chi. I know martial arts. He's trained cage fighters in mindfulness, Olympic ski teams in mindfulness. He's an author of 12 books. So he has so much knowledge And it's knowledge, I feel like he brings in old ancient teachings and universal principles and combines them with science. So he's offering a masterclass weekend. It's really about deep cleaning the subconscious and transforming our fears into power. Friday, the 24th, is just free for everyone to join us. I think it's about an hour, hour and a half. And then Saturday and Sunday, the April 25th and 26th, we're going to dive in deeper and really explore ourselves. So some of the 3 steps he's touched on today, he's going to kind of tease them out even bigger and bigger and bigger. And I just know from experience working with him personally, and he's worked with some other people that I know, that he meets you where you are. So, you know, if you really new to this stuff, awesome. And if you're super advanced, he has all that too. So he really meets you where you are, and it's all custom for you guys. So I would say, you know, join us because you're going to get something for yourself, which is really what I said in the beginning. You know, he doesn't teach a modality. He brings these old ancient principles so that you can remember your own self-mastery. You want to end with anything, William, that you?
Oh, I don't know. There's no external solution for a personal problem. So I would suggest that we continue with this job of life and connecting to the offerings of support that are around us and animating ourselves to resolve personal issues by seeing them, and install 10s, 5s, and customized. 10s means little 10-second things, looking up, while you're doing the dishes, standing, looking at your stance. If you need to rest your body and you're laying down, look at where the muscles are tense. Anyhow, there's 10-second things that ultimately are customized for you so you can begin to make it happen. And then 5-minute explorations. What's real Zen? Zen at your desk. What's real yoga? Yoga on your bed, 5 minutes. What's real Qigong? We're going to look at the scriptures and the science of all these things. And you begin to take these little dips in the flow. Then customized. So 10s, 5s, customized. 10s, 5s, customized. Customized means a long routine. Nobody develops any skill without endless repetition. Boring repetition. All right? We can do it for getting a degree. We can do it for cleaning our rooms. We can do it for relational duties, financial duties. What about the journey of self-actualization, self-realization? The long custom design routine is what would happen if you were with one of those super masters who are like 10 geniuses and super loving all wrapped up into one. And you get the touch, you get the energy of that kind of person, and nothing can replace it. Because you feel held. You feel like you can reveal something that's sad, something that's afraid, something that needs to work. So the long routine means all of the things that work for you as an individual. You want the yoga thing, you want the Qigong thing, you want none of that. You want to do the body gym and just do some things that are ordinary exercises. Okay. For the mind, what kind of thoughts you like? Movie clips, songs, sights, sounds. What's the paradigm that you can relate to with your mind? And then methods of meditation. So all sorts of techniques we'll explore to cause the slowing down of time, to cause hormonal nectar release, sensuality on the inside, to cause spatial awareness, lots of good things. It's all directed towards having these moments that ripple. There was this Dr. Edward Lorenz guy, and he was really famous. He changed the way that we look at science in a major way. And he came up with that thing, the butterfly effect. And the butterfly effect means that science says that a butterfly flapping its wings on one side of the planet can dramatically change the weather pattern on the other side of the planet. That's what this course is all about. It's about giving you moments that can shift your neurology, help you to be healthier, help you to gain insight and get engaged with the process of relationships and actions and whatever it is you need to get going with in your own life. So I invite you to participate. You'll wind up with that custom design program, and that custom design long routine will last a lifetime. Everything is measured. What is measured is managed. We're going to make progress in our ability to relax and our ability to clear our minds. And that's going to happen coming up in this next workshop. And I hope to deliver something to you that benefits you right then and then forevermore, because you can just keep evolving it. It's like a template. It's kind of like how it works. It's not my ideas. How it works according to science. Your best resources.
Thank you so much. And we put the link for the event next weekend for anyone that can join us and wants to join us. And we'll do some of it live on here on Unify on Friday night, probably, like I said. So go on there, sign up, click that you're interested. Join us then for a deeper dive into this and more healing, wellness, bliss, happiness, getting deep, whole. Thank you.
Thank you.